Good, good. How are you doing?
Good. CL, go ahead.
Hi, Hubert. What do you want, coming up against two ranked teams this weekend, what do you want to, I guess, learn about your team? What do you feel like you want to get out of this weekend?
I want to win both games. That's that's what I want. That's what I want to do. You know, I'm really excited about the opportunity that we have this weekend. Tennessee, Villanova, Purdue, unbelievable coaches, coaching staff, and teams, and it'll be great competition for us. I feel like every game, CL, that we've learned a little bit more about ourselves. I felt like against Loyola when they came back and cut it to 9 in the second half, just our toughness and our ability to get back to what we needed to do on the defensive end and be able to get out in transition. So I thought we learned a lot about our preparation and our process in that game. We got hit pretty hard against Brown. Brown was a hot team, and I thought we learned a lot about our team in that game as well. And then going on the road, playing in an environment that we haven't played in over 2 years, and just the togetherness that we had to have on a true road game really put ourselves in a position to be prepared for this weekend. So I'm excited about it.
You got a follow up, CL?
Yeah, and I was also going to ask about Purdue specifically, with their big man Zach Edney, 7'4". Does he compare to anybody that maybe guys have played in the recent past, especially Armando going up against a guy that big?
Yeah, he does a really good job of getting positioned really close to the basket. It's something that we have to prepare for. It's something that we have to be willing to compete against. We want them to catch the ball further away from the basket, but he poses a lot of problems, and so it's gonna stretch our bigs defensively on every possession. But also on the, one of the things that I always say is the challenge of defending them around the basket and in the post, but there's a challenge for them too to defend our bigs. We can score around the basket as well, and we can also play out on the perimeter. So, as much as they pose a problem for us and a challenge for us, we do the same thing on the other end.
Thanks.
Davis Wallace.
Hey, coach, what are some things that Leaky has done on defense that doesn't always show up in the box score?
Well, I think what he has done on defense has shown up in the box score. I mean, the way that he has defended the other team's best player has just been off the chart. Not only in terms of lowering their points per game, or it's just his effort on the defensive end, making them work hard. He's gotten steals and deflections. He's stayed out of foul trouble. He's just made it hard for whoever he's guarding to catch the ball, to score, to get good looks. He's been relentless on the defensive end. This is the way that Leaky is playing right now. Is the way that I thought and envisioned Leaky playing the first time that he stepped foot on campus. He's always had tremendous length and athleticism. His versatility to be able to guard basically 1 through 4, sometimes 1 through 5, gives him an opportunity to be an elite defender. And I'm so happy for him that consistently he's been doing that this year, and everybody's noticing it.
Michael Coe, excuse me.
Hey, Coach. Kerwin Walton had a season high in minutes against Charleston. How much improvement have you seen from him just in this short season so far?
And who did you
Kerwin.
miss? Oh, Kerwin. Yeah, yeah. I mean, Kerwin and I. Kerwin was fantastic against Charleston, and it wasn't just about his ability to shoot the basketball. I thought he was outstanding on the defensive end. I thought he was great. And one of the things that I've told Kerwin is that he can be an elite defender, and he's somebody that can be a game changer on both ends of the floor. One of the things that I changed is in the second half against Charleston, I specifically started calling plays for him. One of the things that we have talked about is for him to be more aggressive. Teams aren't going to leave him like they were at the beginning of the year. Last year, he is known now, and so he's on the scouting report. And so for him to be more aggressive of coming off screens and looking for a shot, but in the second half, we were intentional on calling specific plays for him to put him in positions to be able to get shots. And when he was open, he was able to make them. He was really good against Charleston.
Thank you.
Greg Barnes.
Hey, Hubert, curious about your rotations. Do you feel like you have a pretty good handle on the lineups that you're using, or is this going to be a process of weeks to months of kind of fine tuning this?
Well, I don't, and it's not. It's going to be a process, and I don't want to play 7 or 8 guys. I really believe that Ant Harris can help us. He's an unbelievable defensive player. He has a lot of experience. He's had some really high moments here at Carolina, and I have to do a better job of getting him moments and time out there on the floor because I really believe he can really help us. Dontrez and DeMarco, I can't be any more high on them than I am on both of those two. They're going to have unbelievable careers here at Carolina, and I need to find minutes for them because I really believe that they can help us as well. And Justin McCoy is somebody that not only can play the 3, he can also play the 4. And so that's a huge benefit for us. So to answer your question, the rotation is not set. I want to play more guys, and I've got to do a better job of finding minutes for those guys because I really believe that one of the strengths that we have is we have tremendous depth. And if you have depth, it's only good if you use it, and I want to use it.
And with regard to Anthony Harris, where do you see him fitting in? Can he play a little bit of point guard if you need to?
He can play 1, he can play the 2, he can play the 3, and the reason I feel comfortable with that is how good he is on the defensive end. So he can match up at any one of those positions. He's somebody throughout his career that has played point guard, some point guard. He can play off the ball. I'd like to use him in many different areas, much like Leaky. Against Charleston, we had Leaky at the 3 primarily, but he played a little bit of the power forward and a little bit of the point. And so, but I see more of Ant's minutes coming at the 2 and the 3, and I really like him in those positions.
Thank you.
Brendan Marks.
Hey, Hubert, Armando had 6 blocks against Charleston, and you had mentioned after the game how his work improving his perimeter skills on offense may have translated and helped with some of his footwork around the basket. Do you get a sense that maybe some of the mobility he worked on this summer is also helping him on the defensive end of the floor, and just sort of how have you seen him grow in that regard?
Yeah, he's a really good defender. He has quick feet, and I mentioned before how hard he's worked on the summer on his body, on his quickness, and just becoming better. Not just around. You see his footwork, and in the footwork around the basket. His ability to be able to score, but it's also been a benefit for him on the defensive end. That's one of the reasons why I feel comfortable switching all ball screens because I really believe Armando can guard perimeter players out on the perimeter, and having him around the basket and having him block and alter shots is a huge benefit for us. There's only been one game where he's gotten into foul trouble, and that's one of the things that we have talked about is a lot of times that he'll get some silly fouls. And I prefer him out on the court as opposed to sitting next to me on the bench.
Andrew Jones.
Hey, Coach, what do you like that you've seen from Dawson so far through the first 3 games? And where is he in the process of finding full comfort out there with the guys?
Yeah, Dawson is a big time player. I really believe he's the best defensive big in the country, He can literally guard 1 through 5 every time that he switches on a perimeter player in practice in the game. The first thing that I say is no help, no help. Dawson's got him. Dawson's got him. So from a defensive standpoint, he's been terrific for us from day one. On the offensive end, we're working on finding more of and getting him more in a rhythm on the offensive end. He's a guy that can score around the basket. He can drive from the perimeter, and he can shoot from three. One of the things that we talked about is in the past he has worked he has started the game outside in. And one of the things that we talked about even yesterday was maybe let's work inside and out. It's so much easier getting a post feed, scoring around the basket, getting to the free throw line, then stepping back out and shooting that three. And also specifically calling some more plays for him. He's a big time difference maker player, and I really believe when he gets into the rhythm on the offensive end, it's going to just take us to a different level from an offensive standpoint.
And as far as looking ahead to this weekend, CL asked you about the challenges that Purdue presents, but in your next game, you're going to play a team very different than Purdue. So how huge is the opportunity for you to learn so much about your team with the various styles that you guys are going to go up against this weekend?
Well, as I said before, our first 3 games, you can even include the exhibition game. We've played 4 different styles, and so that has prepared our team moving forward. And what we're learning about our team is how we're going to handle success, how we're going to handle adversity. Those are the things that we learn about our team. I'm just excited that for the opportunity to play in a tournament like this against unbelievable teams and great programs and coaches. All of our players are excited about this chance, about this opportunity, and we're looking forward at the end of the weekend, not only being successful but feeling good about where we're going as a team.
Thank you.
Sally Kate.
Hey, I kind of had less of a logistical basketball question and kind of just wanted to ask what are some of the cultural changes that you're looking to bring into the basketball program, like on a cultural atmospheric level along those lines?
Well, in terms of a cultural level, the culture of Carolina basketball, the foundation has been set. I've talked about this in the past, that it's been, tried and tested and proven successful for over 63 years. And the foundation of this program, of who we are, not only on the court, in the classroom, in the community, it's here to stay as long as I'm here. I believe in it. I've experienced it. And so those types of cultural foundation points will never change. I've said in the past that, the thing that I want to do is I want to travel the same road, the same path as Coach Smith and Coach Guthridge and Coach Doherty and Coach Williams. I'm just going to do it with my personality in my shoes. And so from a foundation standpoint, culturally, everything is going to be the same, but I'm going to do it with my personality.
Ross Martin.
Hey, Coach Davis, just want to kind of follow up on Leaky Black. I don't know if y'all pay attention to plus minus, but he's plus 53 over 3 games. You mentioned his defense, but is there anything different he's doing offensively, you think, from last year that's made him such a positive player for you in these last 3 games?
Yeah, I never look at that plus minus stat. I'm not a huge stat guy. I do look at numbers, but not particularly that metric. I think on the offensive end, there has been a shift and a change. He has a really clear understanding of what he can do on the offensive end and how he can help on the offensive end. This is, from an offensive standpoint, he can drive, he can finish around the basket. And so I think he's doing a really good job of driving, running in transition, because he's somebody that can get easy baskets in transition. He's attacking the offensive glass. He's using his length and his athleticism. He's a really good free throw shooter, so when he gets fouled, he gets to the free throw line. And he's being selective in terms of shooting the ball from the outside. one of the things that we talk about all the time is, we want to pass up good shots to get great shots. And, he'll pass up a good shot, an open shot for him from 3-point range. He'll drive in a lane and he'll find somebody else to get an even better shot. I think, there's a number of examples of him in the past where he may have taken that shot, but he's put the ball on the floor and penetrated, and then he found Kerwin for a wide open three. And so, he just has a really good understanding of what he can do on the offensive end and how it can help the team. And he's doing a really good job of that.
And quickly, is there one thing that surprised you about yourself, about this team, about these players after 3 games that you can tell us?
There hasn't been anything that has surprised me. I was really excited about the game at Charleston because, again, that was the first time that any of the players had played in a crowd like that in over 2 years. And so before the game, some people had asked, do you think your team is ready for this type of atmosphere? What's going to happen tonight? And I said no, because they've never experienced it. And so it was really good to see our team respond in that type of atmosphere. It was a lot of fun to be there, and a couple of the players have stopped by my office this morning and just talked about how much fun it was to play in that type of environment, and how excited they are to play this weekend.
Time for 2 last questions, one for Greg Barnes and then Brendan Marks.
Hubert, have you made any adjustments to the scouting process for your coaching staff in getting ready for future opponents?
Yeah, we have. One of the things that I like to do is I just like to, prepare just, like a little bit, a couple days before a game. And that's something that we have tweaked or changed a little bit just for my personality in terms of preparation. And so say we have, a game on Wednesday, instead of diving into the scouting report the day before, one of the things that I like to do is start it maybe, 2 or 3 days earlier. And so from that standpoint, just adding extra days of preparation into the practice, working on us as a team, but also in preparation for our next opponent. That's something that I've always done as a player and something that I've translated as a coach.
Brendan?
Yeah, Hubert, you had mentioned that in the second half against Charleston, it was effective for you guys calling specific plays for Kerwin. And you had said earlier today that maybe doing the same thing for Dawson might be beneficial. Just in terms of calling sets versus natural transition offense, what's sort of your preference there? And I guess how does that square with the tempo that you said after the Charleston game that you'd like to eventually get to?
Well, I want our guys to be aggressive. I want our guys to have freedom out there on the offensive end, and I feel like we put all of our players in positions to be able to use all their gifts and talents out there on the floor in specific situations and for specific people in order to get them going on the offensive end. Some guys just like to have a play called for them. And I'm learning that about them. It's only been the 3rd game. And so it's only been the 3rd game as, 3 games with me being as a head coach. And so every practice, every game, what I'm enjoying is I'm learning more about me as a coach, and I'm learning more about our players. And what ultimately is on my mind is, how can we help? How can we encourage? How can we coach? How can we teach each one of these guys to be at their best on both ends of the floor? And so just learning that piece from Kerwin, that he likes plays specifically called for him, makes me a better coach in terms of coaching him and coaching the team moving forward. And I'm excited to maybe tweak or change how I look at Dawson in terms of specifically calling some plays for him. It's just a different preference on individuals, and I'm enjoying the process of learning about each one of the players and how they play on any given day.
Coach Davis, thank you very much. Appreciate everybody jumping on. Have a great weekend. One thing for the media, reminder that Coach Davis and players will